Everybody's looking forward to Nico's first start in the Citrus Bowl against Iowa. But what are realistic expectations for Nico in his first game? I'm going to tell you here on a Friday, Locked On Vols.
You are Locked On Vols, your daily podcast on the Tennessee Volunteers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, good Friday morning, everybody. Welcome into Locked On Vols. It is your team every single day. We're a part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Shout out to Everydayers for making this a part of your morning routine. Can't thank you enough for that. We've reached the end of the week, right? It's Friday, and we're going to have the weekend. And then at 1 o'clock on Monday, it's football time in Florida. It's football time in the Sunshine State for Tennessee, who will be taking on Iowa in the Citrus Bowl. So, you know, bowl games are kind of unique, right? The end of the regular season starts. Now you got the wacky season of transfer portal, early signing period, COVID seniors, deciding if they're going to come back to school or not. There's a lot of roster management, and we often kind of put the bowl game on the back burner, and then you have Christmas, and then it really just sneaks up on you, right? So just a couple more nights sleep, and then it's Tennessee and it's Iowa in the Citrus Bowl. And, of course, we'll give a full preview of what that game is going to be on Monday's show. But here on today's show, it's really fun because we're going to talk about expectations for Nico. They're going to be through the roof no matter what. But I'm going to try to not channel those expectations, but what should we expect to see? Let's just have a conversation about it here in segment one from Nico. Segment number two, what are they saying about Nico? Nico himself, I kind of spliced together some cut-ups when he met with the media on Thursday. You're going to hear from Nico himself and then what some of his teammates are saying about him. And then in segment number three, the Iowa On 3 side put together a nice little thing where they compared each starter for each team and where they ranked as recruits coming out of high school. I thought that'd be interesting here to kind of end of Friday's show. So with that being said, let's kind of dive into it. What should these expectations be for Nico? Again, number one player in the country, according to On 3. 5-star rated prospect. $8 million man, reportedly, NIL, Mr. NIL, all that and more. So everybody's been super stoked to see what Nico is. I mean, no ifs, ands, buts about it. The most popular guy on any football team is always the backup quarterback. It just only magnifies when you're a 5-star prospect, when you're considered the number one player in the cycle, according to one publication, that being On 3. And, when everybody knows that there's an investment made in this player, and that is Nico. So fans are wanting to sit here and say, well, let's see him play. Let's see him play. Why do we have to have a bridge gap here with Joe Milton? Especially when Joe Milton was struggling, everybody was saying, well, it's Nico time, it's Nico time, it's Nico time. Well, now it is. And so when Nico gets in there and gets in that football game, what will those expectations be? What should we be assuming that he's going to do? Joe Milton's kind of different, right? He had the starting job in 2021, came in, played a couple of games and, got hurt, didn't really light up the world or whatever. Then Hendon Hooker took off. Hendon Hooker finished the 21 season, played 2022. Then Hendon Hooker got hurt. Joe Milton came in, played the Vanderbilt, finished the South Carolina game, played the Vanderbilt game, and then he started the Orange Bowl. And so, yeah, sure, we had already seen Joe. We knew enough about Joe, but there was still some kind of intrigue there. Like, well, if conditions are fine and there's not sideways rain like there was at Vanderbilt, is Joe Milton's touch on the football any better consistently? Does he look any different in a game where it's not a blowout or you're coming in mop-up duty? And Joe Milton came in and he finished that Clemson game in the Orange Bowl this time last year, completing 19 to 28 passes, 251 yards, and 3 touchdowns. 2 touchdowns on a rope to the back of the end zone, one to Brew McCoy, one to Squirrel White, and of course it was a 46-yard bomb down the far sideline to Ramel Keaton, and it looked really good. I thought Joe played solid. I thought Joe was really good in that game, but it kind of set the scene forward, kind of moved the needle in terms of, Joe's going to be a Heisman-type guy. Joe's going to be this guy, and you had all offseason to kind of simmer about that. And so we were really anticipating what Joe would look like in the Orange Bowl, and he produced, pretty well indeed. And so when I look back at Tennessee history, there's only 4 true freshman quarterbacks in Tennessee history that have started bowl games before. Now, I can't tell you if any of these starts were start number 1 for these quarterbacks. I don't know that. But for reference, Nico Iamaleava is going to be the fourth Vol true freshman quarterback to start a bowl game. Tyler Bray did it in the 2010 Music City Bowl. We remember that. That was certainly not his first start, but that was against North Carolina. Tennessee lost by 3 points, 30-27. He had a phenomenal game. Sure, he had 3 interceptions, and you want those back, but he threw 4 touchdowns. He threw for 312 yards and was 27-45. So when I say phenomenal, maybe we kind of tread that back a little bit. Did turn it over 3 times, but threw for 4 touchdowns. I mean, they were letting him rip it. As Joey Halsey would say, let it rip. They were letting him rip it. So that was Tyler Bray in the Music City Bowl. Casey Clausen in the 2001 Cotton Bowl against Kansas State, where Tennessee lost 35-21. He did not have a good game. 7 of 25 on the day, 120 yards, 1 touchdown, and 3 interceptions. Obviously, Casey Clausen went on to have a fantastic career for Tennessee, but it is his first bowl game start as a true freshman. 7 of 25, 120 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. Peyton Manning was the other. Of course, we know Peyton Manning didn't start the entirety of his freshman year, but he started the 1994 Gator Bowl against Virginia Tech, where Tennessee won 35-10. Manning wasn't asked to do an awful lot, completed 12 of 19 passes for 189 yards, no interceptions, and 1 touchdown. So pretty good company there, right? If Nico continues on and Nico goes out and plays, the next couple of years here at Tennessee, after starting a bowl game as a true freshman, becoming only the 4th quarterback in Tennessee history ever to do that, if you're mentioning the names of Casey Clausen, Peyton Manning, and Tyler Bray as a quarterback at Tennessee, you're in pretty good company. That's not too shabby, if I do say so myself. So what should we expect? For Nico, you don't want to see any turnovers, right? He's a freshman. You're going to hear from him here in just a moment. He's going to say something like, I hope I don't make any mistakes, but if I do, it's just got to be next play, next play, next play. Nico's going to make some mistakes, and that's part of it. Does he make the same mistake 2 times? 3 times? That's what I'm curious. Do you make a wrong read? Okay, you move on. Do you make that same wrong read again? I don't know. We'll see. We haven't seen Nico play for an extended period of time ever. He's not played in the first half of a football game all year long. He's taken just 52 offensive snaps all year long, and he's only played in 4 games. He hadn't played in the first half. I mean, so we're truly going to see kind of what he looks like. Will Nico throw for over 200 yards? Will Nico lead 3 or 4 touchdown drives? Remember, this defense for Iowa is good, and we're gonna, we're gonna talk extensively about it on Monday, getting you ready for the Citrus Bowl. I know a lot of people are saying, "Well, look at the offenses they face. Look at the offenses they face." I hear you, but when you allow 66 rushing yards to Michigan in the Big Ten championship game, that's not bad. When you allow 13.6 points per game throughout the course of a season, that's not bad. So my point is, if Nico doesn't lead a Tennessee offense that scores 35 points or 42 points or 55 points, what do those points look like in him? If Tennessee wins 17-12, I don't think Tennessee needs to score an awful lot to win this football game, because I think Iowa is so bad offensively, just so bad offensively, that Tennessee's going to be able to kind of get by and maybe not play its best game offensively, but just outscore the opponent in a low-scoring game. How much is that going to be? I don't know. If Nico comes out there and throws for 3 touchdowns, throws for 285 yards, doesn't turn the football over, and Tennessee wins by a couple scores, whoo. You talk about a good offseason. You talk about a good offseason for everybody. Fans, me, VolQuest, everybody alive. That would be an awesome offseason for Tennessee football fans, kind of leading them into 2024. But I don't know what to expect from Nico. I truly don't, because I don't know how good this defense is for Iowa. I think it's good. Again, I think it's good on paper. But it's not seeing the pace that Tennessee's going to show them on Monday in any other game this season. They've not seen some of the caliber of athletes on a consistent basis. Of course, Michigan's got some athletes, and there's some athletes in Big Ten. I'm not trying to act like there's not. And I know they play in the weaker division, but it's going to be a different type of ball game. So I'm intrigued to see exactly kind of what Nico looks like. I expect Nico to go out there. I expect them to make him look really, really good on the first couple of drives of the game when they're scripted. First drive of the game, first drive after halftime, I think Nico's going to look really good. But I'm intrigued to see what Nico looks like when you go off script. Drive 4 or 5 of the game. Drive 3, 4 of the half. When you're going on play 7, 8 of the drive. What does Nico look like in 2-minute drill? What does Nico look like in the RPO game? He's smart. He's continued to get better as the year's gone on. Teammates can't say enough about him, both on the record and off the record, certainly throughout the football season. So I don't know. I don't know what those expectations are. I'll tell you what mine are, I guess. I'm kind of expecting Nico to go in there and, there might be a turnover. It's a good defense. You're a true freshman. It's your first start. I don't think it's going to be perfect. I think he's going to have a turnover, but I think he'll have more scoring plays than turnovers. So I'm expecting a total of maybe 2 touchdowns, maybe 1 rushing, maybe 2 touchdowns total or something, maybe an interception, but I think you'll throw for over 200 yards. But more importantly, are you putting Tennessee's offense in position to be successful? That is my expectation, and I do believe that's going to happen with Nico Iamaleava. So, looking good there, and I can't wait to see exactly what all this looks like. I will say, kind of going back to those names we mentioned earlier about the company of the 4 quarterbacks, Peyton Manning, Casey Clausen, Tyler Bray, and now Nico Iamaleava, those 4 quarterbacks who are true freshmen to start a bowl game. Those other 3 went on to throw for 28,352 passing yards, 233 touchdowns, and a combined 118 games. So yeah, that is not bad company whatsoever right there. If you are going to be in that kind of company, maybe your career here at Tennessee is going to be one of really, 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 really good stuff. And obviously we can't wait to see it. And it starts on Monday in the Citrus Bowl against Iowa. Hey, when we come back, we will take a look at what Nico's teammates are saying about him heading into the start in the Citrus Bowl against Iowa when we come back here on Locked On Vols. Do want to tell you about our friends over at eBay Motors. Passion, drive, patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle, leveled up to peak performance, from superchargers, roof rack, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you're always going to find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay's Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time, or your money is back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need and the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive today with ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. All right, guys, welcome back in here to your Friday edition of Locked On Vols. I'm your host, Eric Kane. Thanks so much for being here, subscribing to Locked On Vols on the YouTube channel, and downloading the show wherever you get your podcast. So, expectations for Tennessee. I was talking with my buddy Oz the other day, and he was like, you should go on there and talk about what your expectations are. It won't matter because the expectations are going to be through the roof. They're going to be through the roof no matter what. The first incompletion, the first turnover. We're paying for this? 5-star my butt, number 1 overall player. What are you talking about? That's part of fandom. But I think we're all super thrilled to see kind of what this looks like and the challenge it's going to be here because, again, this is not Vanderbilt. This is not an FCS opponent. This is not homecoming. This is the Iowa Hawkeyes. Sure, you don't have to score a lot of points to win this game, like I mentioned, but, it's going to be against a competent defense, and the defense has got kind of a lot of star power. So, what did Nico Iamaleava have to say Thursday after Citrus Bowl practice down in Orlando, Florida? What did he have to say about this opportunity, about getting the news that he's going to be the starting quarterback, what his teammates are saying, all that and more? Here's kind of a mesh up of what Nico said to the media Thursday after practice. This is his first media appearance back, really since fall camp, whenever everybody kind of spoke.
Yeah, it should be good, man. My first start going against the top 5 defense. I'm ready for the challenge, and I'm ready to go out there and compete with my brothers. Huge, man. This whole season, Joe took me under his wing, and I've learned so much from Joe. You guys don't even know. So, man, I'm just still having him here with this bowl prep, and having him out here in Orlando with us has been fun. So it was just me, learning the playbook first, and I knew everything was going to slow down as soon as I got the offense down. So, I think going into spring, the game will be different than last spring for sure. Really, just as a quarterback, as a man, I think I've grown huge over this past season. I got a lot of cool guys in the room to help me out with Coach Hype, Coach Joey, Coach Mitch. So I really just been appreciative of the support they've gave me, and I've grown in so many ways. Going into the season, just having Joe, I knew I was going to be able to learn a lot, learn how to be, a college football player, learn how to be a pro. So it was huge for me to learn under Joe this year. I think as a quarterback, you got to come with everything. Quarterback comes with leadership. Quarterback comes with playing well. So, going into the game, I think I've always tried to lead. As a quarterback, that's what you got to do. You're the leader of the team. So, yeah, I think they responded well when Coach Heupel told them. I've tried to be good with all the guys during my time here. So, I think I've built good relationships with all the guys throughout the season.
When did you find out you were going to be the captain?
Right when we got into bowl prep around Christmas time, around that time. I was excited, man. I finally get to go out there and showcase my talents as a starter, so it should be fun. I think just seeing defense is better. That was a huge thing for me. I really wanted to learn getting the coverages and just break down defenses. I think in high school, I let a lot of my skill and talent take over. But I got to this level and really just learning defenses and where bodies are going has been huge for me. Yeah, they're very disciplined and they make tackles in the open field. I think they're just a very disciplined team that does their job well. From starting up front, going to their back end, I think they all do their job pretty well. So. Joe's just he's an open book, man. I can ask him anything, and he has no problem with giving me the answer. He's been there for me since day one, so I really appreciate Joe. Yeah, man, I'm trying to get Brew back. It's huge, man. I think a guy like that coming back, he'll be the leader of the receiver room. We'll be a little young next year, so just him coming back would be huge for me. And I'm working on it. So yeah, definitely. Coach Heupel always says this is the beginning of our 2024 season. So, just going into this game, I think everybody's looking at it really as the first game of our year. So, yeah, it's been huge, man, and we're looking forward to 2024. I think it's very easy. I've always been a guy to next play type of guy. So, I know I'm gonna go out there and make. I hope I don't make any mistakes, but if it comes, it comes. I gotta have the next play mentality and get my guys and rally for that win.
Yeah, I mean, you heard him right there. Yeah, I mentioned it earlier. He said he hopes that he doesn't make any mistakes, but mistakes are going to happen. Nobody is perfect. Nobody has ever played a perfect football game. I'm not the biggest bowling fan, but in bowling, you bowl a 300. I mean, that's a perfect game. Right? In baseball, there's been more than a couple now over the history of the sport, but there's been perfect games where nobody's reached base. But in football, literally no one has ever played a perfect game. Never. And so there's going to be a mistake made. And so how you respond from that, again, Nico says, hey, next play mentality. It's good to hear that. But I can't wait to see it and see kind of where he is in this process. Again, true freshman, first start. It's going to be a bowl game. It's going to be a pretty nice bowl game, the Citrus Bowl, against, again, a good defense, as I've mentioned. So looking forward to that. You heard a couple other snippets there talking about the Iowa defense, discipline top to bottom, from the front all the way to the back. They play assignment football. We'll get into that personnel on Monday's show. But discipline is what Nico would use to describe the Iowa defense, one that's number 4 in scoring defense in the land. You saw right there towards the end as well. He said, hey, I'm on Brew. Brew McCoy, I need him back. I want him back. I want him to be a part of what we got going on in 2024. And so, Nico's already working on Brew McCoy as well. And then he said countless times about Joe right there. Joe's an open book. Joe's been there with me, throughout the entire process. And I do think, this shouldn't go unnoticed, right? Joe Milton has been there. He has been, as I said back in earlier December, when people were asking, is Joe going to play in the game? And I'm like, well, it looks like it because he's at practice right now. His comments after the Vanderbilt game really looked like he wanted to play in this game. He said, we got one more. He's been at practice. He made the trip to Orlando. He's not playing in this game. He's not going to be dressed, but he's there. He's working. He's going to be a resource for Nico. I think that demonstrates what a VFL is, right? We talked about that on the Tuesday or Wednesday show earlier this week. That demonstrates what a teammate is. And so I think that's going to be monumental for Nico this week, obviously in the game on Monday. And then, from there, Nico's got to step up and be the veteran in the room. All right, so you heard from Nico. What are his teammates saying about the opportunity to play with Nico in his first start? First, we'll hear from Bryson Eason, and then we're going to hear from Dylan Sampson on how excited they are for Nico Iamaleava.
Yeah, I believe in Nico 100%. My comparison, who I feel like he plays like, would be like a tall, real tall, much taller Bryce Young, and just how smooth he is and things like that. And I think it's been fun. Nico going to be great for us, and we ready to see what goes after this game. Yes, sir.
Oh, man, we all have great confidence in Nico. And Joe's still been around helping with the team, man. He's a true leader, but, I think Nico's ready. Everybody has full faith and confidence in him, and I think it's just time to, let him go. So, I'll be alongside him, helping him out, but, yeah, it'll be fun.
So a lot of good stuff there again from Bryson Eason and then Dylan Sampson saying they're excited, saying that Nico's ready. Even Dylan, mentioning Joe again, that he's been around. He's been a great teammate, been a great resource. I love the comparison there from Bryson Eason saying he looks like a taller Bryce Young, much, much taller, but his finesse, how nothing seems to make him panic. And again, in the brief time that we've seen Nico so far, that's something I've learned. His pocket presence is through the roof, through the charts. And I can't wait to see when he is pressured, when he is flustered in the pocket, kind of how he evades, how he escapes, how he extends. That's been something really, really cool to see from Nico in the brief time we got to see him so far, play in some mop-up duty games in 2023. All right, we're going to go to the Iowa On 3 sites, Hawkeye Report, and we're going to take a look. This is an article from them. They kind of broke down starters for the Citrus Bowl and where they were coming out of high school in terms of 3-star, 4-star, 5-star. That in a moment here on Locked On Vols. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss anything. We got a whole lot coming up here to end the show. Do want to tell you about our friends over at Prize Picks, as I was kind of rambling there to search for the out cue here to take us to the live read. But Prize Picks, phenomenal product, largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America, easiest, most exciting way to play DFS. It's just you against the numbers. Instead of battling thousands of other players, including pros and sharks, all you have to do is pick more than or less than your 2 to 6 player snap projection, and you watch those winning roll in. Over the course of the football season, I've had so much fun winning up to 25 times my money. And now you can do that during basketball season as well. You just select 2 or more players, you pick more than or less than the projected stats, place your entry, and watch it roll in. With basketball season here, you can do combo projections across football and basketball, these bowl games, NBA, college basketball. That's in the Specials League. Go check that out. For an example, LeBron James, Travis Kelce, 10.5 combo 3-pointers made and receptions. That is a whole lot of fun. Plus, if you go to prizepicks.com right now /LockedOnCollege and use that promo code LockedOnCollege, you're going to get a first deposit match up to $100. Not $90, not $50, not $180 either. It's up to $100 on your first deposit by going to prizepicks.com /LockedOnCollege. 2 to 6 player stat projections. PrizePicks will tell you what they think. You say more than or less than. It's so much fun. www.prizepicks.com /LockedOnCollege. Promo code LockedOnCollege for an instant deposit match up to $100. All that and more. That is at Prize Picks. All right, guys, we got a final segment left here of this Friday edition of Locked On Vols. Thank you so much for being here and kind of hanging out with me as I'm continuing to kind of get my voice back. Should hopefully be back to full strength here on Monday's episode. As the day goes on, my voice kind of gets a little wary, but hey, that's part of it, as I've mentioned countless times over the week. But thank you so much for sticking with me throughout this process. I do want to kind of run by an article that I mentioned, Hawkeye Report put out there, and I thought it was interesting. Starters in this football game and where they were coming out of high school. So I kind of broke it down here. Actually, Hawkeye Report broke it down here. We will start with Tennessee. And remember, there's a whole lot of opt-outs. There's some injuries as well. And so this isn't the true starting lineup and kind of what we saw for game 1. But as we go throughout here, quarterback, Nico was a former 5-star prospect. These are according to the On3 industry rankings, okay? Nico Iamaleava, 5-star. Dylan Sampson, a 4-star. Jacob Warren, a 3-star. Squirrel White, a 4-star. Chaz Nimrod, a 3-star. Ramel Keaton, a 4-star. Offensive line, John Campbell was a 3-star way back when in the Reagan administration because he's been in college forever. He was a 3-star. I think he's obviously kind of been a better prospect than that. Ollie Lane was a 3-star. Cooper Mays was a 4-star out of Knoxville Catholic. And Jackson Lampley was a 4-star along with Gerald Mincy, who was a 3-star. So if you look at Tennessee's offense, Tennessee has 1 5-star, 5 4-stars, and then 5 3-stars as well. So 5 4-stars, 5 3-stars, and 1 5-star. And of course, that 1 5-star was Nico Iamaleava. But remember, Joe Milton, I think, was a 4-star coming out of high school, so that would kind of be at -1. Jalen Wright, I believe, was a 3-star, so Dylan Sampson's actually higher than him. Jabari Small was a 3-star. Jacob Warren's a 3-star. McCallum Castles, I would imagine, was a 3-star as well. Squirrel White was a 4-star. Okay. Brew McCoy was a 5-star. So if Brew McCoy was in the starting lineup but not injured, that would be another tick, in the 5-star column for Tennessee. Look at the offensive line as well. Javonte Spraggins, I believe, was a 4-star. He might have been a 3-star. But he's obviously not playing, and Jackson Lampley's playing in place of him. But Jackson Lampley was highly rated coming out of high school. Again, he was a 4-star prospect. So kind of interesting there. Some injuries kind of, make this a little not valid. But then again, it's, players got to go play. On the defensive side of the football for Tennessee, no Tyler Barron. So Dominic Bailey will start in his place. And remember, this is a rotational position. But Dominic Bailey was a 4-star prospect coming out of high school. Kerrod Garland, who's a part of that rotation, but Bryson Eason would be in there ahead of him. They have Kerrod Garland here as a 3-star, but it'd be Bryson Eason who is a 4-star. Amari Thomas was a 4-star. James Pierce was a 4-star. Look at the linebackers. Elijah Herring and Aaron Beasley both were 3-star prospects. Aaron Beasley was a 3-star athlete who played a little safety, played a little running back, and then, of course, he found a home at linebacker. You go on to the defensive backfield. Jordan Thomas was a one-time Mississippi State commit. He flipped to Tennessee. He was a 3-star prospect. Gabe Judy Lawley, a 3-star prospect. Ricky Gibson, 4-star. Jalen McCullough was a 4-star. Andre Turrentine was a 4-star. So, if you look at the defense for Tennessee, no 5-star, 6 4-stars, and 5 3-stars. Okay? And again, these are the On3 industry rankings. Industry rankings where they kind of do the weighted average across all the 4 publications. So on offense, Tennessee had 1 5-star, starters in the Citrus Bowl, 5 4-stars, and 5 3-stars. On defense, Tennessee had no 5-stars, 6 4-stars, and 5 3-stars. So let's take a look at Iowa, shall we? What about the Hawkeyes? Of course, we'll learn more of the personnel on Monday heading into the matchup. Quarterback Deacon Hill, 3-star prospect. Running back LaShawn Williams, 3-star prospect. Tight end Addiston Ostrenga, 3-star prospect. Steven Stellanos, who's another tight end, was an unranked player. Wide receivers, Caleb Brown, a 4-star prospect. Nico Raganini was a 3-star prospect. Offensive lineman, Mason Richmond was a 3-star prospect. Rusty Feth was a 3-star prospect. Logan James was a 4-star prospect. Connor Colby was a 4-star prospect. And Ginnings Dunker was a 3-star prospect. So that is the offense for Iowa. You break it down, no 5-stars, 3 4-stars, and 7 3-stars and 1 unranked player. So no 5-stars, 3 4-stars, 7 3-stars, and 1 unranked player. So kind of the difference there. You'll see it even more here on defense. Let's go to Iowa's defense. Deontay Craig, 3-star. Yaya Black, 3-star. Logan Lee, 3-star. Joe Evans, unranked. Jay Higgins, who's their best player on defense, he's a tackle machine, a 3-star. Nick Jackson, 3-star. Sebastian Castro, 3-star. Deshaun Lee is a 3-star. Jamari Harris, a 3-star. Xavier Nakamba, 4-star. Quinn Shute, unranked, a former walk-on. And again, this is the number 4 scoring defense in the country. Of the starters on defense for Iowa, no 5-stars, only 1 4-star. Only 1 4-star, 8 3-stars, and 2 unranked players. So again, this just goes to show you it's all about fit. It's all about development. I work for a recruiting service, okay? I work for VolQuest.com, which is an On3 affiliate. We make our money by talking recruiting. Never forget that. That is just like recruiting is the lifeline of any college football program. Recruiting is the lifeline of VolQuest.com. I know that. But it's all about development. It just kind of goes to show you when you go to a school, when it's the right fit, and you get the right coaches to develop you, and you stick through it, your rankings might not matter. Again, this defense, it's number 4 in the country in scoring, no 5 stars, 1 4-star, 8 3-stars, and 2 unranked players. I thought that was really interesting. Of course, going into the Citrus Bowl, Tennessee and Iowa. That game's coming up at 1 o'clock. Camping World Stadium in Orlando, Florida for the Citrus Bowl. And I thought that'd be something to kind of talk about here to end our Friday show. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Nico train continues to roll on into the weekend. Nico's going to get his first start for Tennessee. It's going to be in the Citrus Bowl. One of only 4 true freshman quarterbacks ever to start a bowl game for Tennessee. I'm going to be watching it, and I know you're going to be watching it as well. Can't wait to see that. We'll break down we'll preview every single angle of this game coming up on Monday's show to get you set for kickoff. Until then, enjoy your weekend, everybody. Thanks so much. This has been Locked On Vols.